Hey, Trucked Up guys and gals, it's Canada Day long weekend. And during a holiday, I wanted to address one of the biggest misconceptions about taking our EV truck to the lake, towing the boat, or going camping at our favorite spot on special holidays like this one. What if we planned everything, but when we arrive at our favorite camping spot that had the 30 to 50 amp service, we find out that every frickin' spot's been taken, including the one we reserved? What happens if the campground is having issues and the power is out? Or what about all those campgrounds we love to visit that have no service? In the past, you just brought along the generator to power the RV and didn't have to worry because you always carted around a few extra jerry cans of gasoline. And then there's the sometimes sporadic charging infrastructure to get to the places where we want to go. What if one or two critical stops are having issues or they're down completely? Sure, we might be fine getting to our destination, but what about getting back? Or what if we're the kind of crazy nutcases that don't like front country camping and love to turn off on the first open forestry or mining service road that goes on endlessly into the mountains and the unknown? There's obviously no frickin' charging network to speak of. And we've all seen the memes. You know, the doctored images showing Teslas driving around with massive diesel or gas generators strapped to the back of them, or the many videos over the years demonstrating using a generator to charge an EV with mixed levels of success, I'm being polite, or failing completely. And what about disasters? What if you forgot to charge up the EV truck just before the power goes out? Now, sure, for anyone who actually knows anything about owning an EV, the times when these scenarios actually happen are very rare, to say the least. But really? Are we limiting ourselves from doing all those things that we love to do with trucks because we own an EV truck? Can we not get to the places that we want to go with our truck? Is it just a fair weather truck, a highway princess, and we can't go off the beaten track? We can't go camping. We can't take our boat to the lake because, well, there's no way to get back. Well, there is. There are answers, and things have come a long way in the past few years. Prices have come down, technology's gone up, efficiencies have improved, and you can do a lot more with a lot less today. What's important is that before you do anything, if you're going off-road, if you're going to a place where gas stations are limited, you plan ahead. If you're going to somewhere where there's no charging stations, you plan ahead. Well, that's exactly what we're going to work on today. We're going to talk about what the right generator to have, the wrong generator to have, and how you can still go do all the things you want to do with an EV truck. So join me, join Thor, let's get totally trucked up. I just did an exclusive Patreon video that talks about how this all came about. What the heck was I thinking? Why did I want to do this video on generators? There's a story behind it that came from my own mistakes leading up to wanting to do this. And the fact that we've heard so much about EREVs and how that would just be life-changing for people with trucks. Now, there are limitations, of course, but I realized we could open up a lot of doors rather than close them. So if you want to check that out for the price of a cup of coffee a month, join my Patreon, become a member, and you will get exclusive content just like this, as well as advanced release of all my videos. So check out the link below to Patreon. Hope to have you on board for that. Can you actually build a do-it-yourself EREV? Well, like I said in the title, sort of. Not really, in the fact that you can't drive and charge. It's not about the type of generator or what you can do in your vehicle, but it's about what the vehicle comes with. There's no way of directly getting that current into the vehicle, and there's all kinds of rules and regulations around that. You can do it with solar. Aptera is doing it right now, where you can charge while you drive. But there are limitations with things like generators. Number one, a lot of them are air-cooled, and they have to have good circulation and ventilation around that generator to be able to run properly. You shouldn't ever run your generators in the back of a truck, in the bed, standing still. In fact, I think there's something in the manuals themselves with all of these generators saying never do this. So that's one of the setbacks. It's going to be based upon stop and start. But what's amazing and what we're going to get into is how long you have to stop and how long it takes you to restart. And you'll be really surprised by this one. Well, here we have it. Thanks to Champion Power Equipment, we've got our inverter generator. And as I mentioned before, there were a whole bunch of criteria that I had before I was going to go out and get a generator, and this was the one that met every one of those criteria. So I was thrilled that Champion came on board and supported the channel with this unit, because this is exactly what we're wanting to do when we go on the road and have ourselves that extended range EV for our vehicle. Can't charge on the road, as I mentioned before, but when we get to our site, how fast can we recharge? How fast can we get going again? If we just have supper and charge up a little bit, head for another spot, camp at one spot, stay overnight, wake up to a full truck, that's all possible here. But we're going to show you what also most individuals have to do with their generators and why they get so frustrated with them. But we're going to go through all of the criteria first of all. So the first thing for me was it had to be portable. Right now I got ramps in the back of my truck. I'm able to just bring this thing up and down myself. So if I don't have anyone else there, I'm able to get it in and out of my truck. It's got a great handle here that locks. I love this. Easy to lift. You can do it with one arm, which is absolutely fantastic. And then just a little pin release on the back. And it's got those, wheels that you never have to worry about inflating. So those were a couple of key things that I wanted right off the bat before I even looked at anything else. But the big one that I really love with this one is when you're backcountry or you've got only limited access to different spots, you don't know if there's going to be a gas station. So in a large part of northern Canada, you could have a problem if you're going there in a gas truck, because the access to some of the gas stands sometimes are a little sporadic. So what if you can't get gasoline? Well, a lot of small shops or general stores will have a vertical propane tank outside. So I wanted to have flexibility, and this has it. It's a tri-fuel. So basically anything I can get out there, I can run off a house with natural gas, I can run propane, and I can run gasoline. So those are all key for what I'm wanting to do with the generator. Now, the other big thing with this is big numbers. So if you're wanting to charge on the road, you don't want to be waiting 2 days to charge up an electric vehicle. So the biggest thing is the number. You want to have something that's capable. If you're going for like a 3,000 watt, 5,000 watt, you're going to be level 1 charging. And I'll get to that in a minute. But you want to be at a minimum of a running level of around 7.2 kilowatts. So you don't have any problems with it actually not having enough charge to kick in at level 2. So that's one of the big ones. This is 11,000 watts starting, and then 9,000 watts, so 9 kilowatts continuous. That's pretty freaking good. You also get 8,100 watts off the propane, or 7,200 watts off the natural gas. So you've got lots of options here. So that's one of the big ones. The other huge one on this is I needed something that was an inverter generator, and there's a reason for that. If you don't have an inverter generator and you just have a standard generator, you're not going to have a stable sine wave. You're not going to have that stable AC current. And if the current's constantly fluctuating, not only can you damage your charging unit, you can damage your vehicle. So you need to have a stable, predictable current. But some of the smaller generators have another issue, and that is how they're grounded. Okay, some of them have a floating neutral. With a floating neutral, you'll need a bonding plug or some type of grounding rod to bang into the ground and run a ground to the unit. I'm no electrical expert here. You want to get an electrician to help you with this. I'm not giving advice on this side of things. That's something you want to look into, especially if you're going to use your house and you're going to run a generator off the house. That's a whole different ball of wax, and you want to make sure you're looking into that properly. But this unit is neutral bonded to the frame, which means it's grounded. It has what's called GFCI, which is ground fault current interrupter, or ground fault circuit interrupter, I believe. And what it does is the moment it detects an anomaly through that frame, it goes back basically to the unit, and it's saying, hey, this thing's not doing any work. It trips the circuit. So it protects you from shock, protects your vehicle from damage, protects the charger from being damaged. So I've got all of those things in one inverter generator. Now the good part. Let's go down here. Underneath, on the face, we have a couple of really cool things. These are our breakers, but what we have here is 20 amp GFCI plugs here, 2 of them. Then we have 2 more 120 amp as well. So we've got 4 of these. On top of that, we've got a 12 volt. The best part of all is you've also got your NEMA 1430 down here, which is basically a 120, 240, 30 amp 4 prong. But the most important thing for EV owners is this one right here. We want to have a NEMA 1450, so we don't need any kind of adapter. We don't need anything at all. We can run our current straight from our NEMA 1450 portable charger right into the truck, and we're going to demonstrate that. So this thing is well equipped. You've got everything that you want here as far as power. And because you're running a lot of power, you can do a lot of things with this inverter generator. Down here is for your natural gas and propane hookup, both in the same spot. And it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Gasoline, gasoline off, unit off, propane, natural gas. And it's that simple. So we're going to go to gasoline. And one of the best things about this is I don't have to fiddle around with it. I just press a button. There we go. Here's the other nice thing about this unit is I've got a remote start. Basically, I can press it from up to 80 feet away. I start up my inverter generator, and I can actually talk to you right now because it's running at the highest point at 64 decibels. So you're not being absolutely inundated with horrible noise from your generator. It's much quieter than a lot of the large generators. The inverter generator does run a lot quieter, so it's nice having a remote start from up to 80 feet away, and when you press it, it'll go up to 6 times going through the cycle, and it's also an auto choke. It's taking care of everything. So that's another wonderful feature, and then to turn it off, I just do exactly the same thing, and basically you're done. We're gonna try some of the other plugs and see how we do as far as how much current we're drawing, if they all work or not. We're gonna try that 30 amp 120 240 with an adapter onto a NEMA 1450. Then we'll try a 110 outlet, and we can get an idea of just how long each one of these things will take to charge up your truck. And then we're going to do the NEMA 1450 and see how much we can pull off of this thing and work out the math. And then you can see just how efficient these things have become. Now this is where we're at right now. If you can see right there, we are at 75 kilometers of range. I'll put the mileage down below. Left in the tank. I deliberately tank in the batteries with the charge. You can see there it's gone into the orange. I deliberately did this. My settings are for 80 kilometer range or 55 miles to give me an indication, a warning that I'm getting low on charge. And then it goes from blue to orange, and you can see we're in the orange. Okay, we're all ready to go here. Now, if you don't happen to have your little remote with you, it's very simple starting this little fella. So basically, we just put this right here into fuel on mode right here. So we've got fuel off, we've got the unit off, then we've got propane, and we've got natural gas. We just put it in that position, hit the button, and you're going to get a temporary standby flashing light right here. And then to start it, we just hit it again. A couple things you want to ensure when you set this thing up is you want to make sure that your exhaust has full access coming out here. You're nothing getting in the way. You don't want anything blocking that exhaust line. So just important things to note. But what's also nice about this is if you're in a confined area and you're not aware of how confined and dangerous it is, this has CO shield. So if this detects higher levels or any kind of dangerous level of carbon monoxide, it'll shut off. It'll actually shut itself down to protect you and anyone in the area. Our first that we're going to be utilizing is the 110. Again, very easy. You can get many different types of portable ones that have the level 1, level 2 swap. I strongly recommend this. Just gives you a lot more versatility on the road. We don't want to plug this in first. Never plug it in first. Wait for the generator to warm up. We want everything to be ready to go. At that point, when we're ready to actually charge, when I'm going to see that all my numbers are good and it's had a few moments to warm up, and then we're going to plug in. I've got a blue light ready to go, so let's go plug this into the truck. And I have a blue light and it is flashing. So we are now charging off of this unit, which is exactly what we want. This is the slowest way you can charge, the most inefficient use of your fuel, but It's one that you can do. You could basically charge multiple things at the same time if you're in no rush, because this thing has more than enough juice to do this and many other things. So let's go take a look inside the truck and we'll see how we're doing. Okay, as we can see here inside the truck, it's saying charging 12 amps, 1.4 kilowatts. So we would be at 100% at 3 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. Okay then, so the bad news is today is Thursday. Now remember, this is to 100%, but this is where you've seen all these horror videos about how generators will never work for you. This is why, because we're only pulling in 1.4 kilowatts. So let's just think that one through. At 12 amps, 1.4 kilowatt, which means we're going to get 1.4 kilowatt hours. Well, we've got a 131 kilowatt hour battery. We drained this thing down, if you recall, to under 20%. And remember, you really only want to charge up to 80% before you hit the road. So let's just reset this 100%. We're going to do everything at 80%, and let's see what it tells us then. Okay, we're now reset to 80%. That knocked 3 days off. So we're now down to Sunday at 5 p.m. getting to 80%. Well, we're Thursday currently at noon. So you get the idea. This is a long wait to get a very big battery. Now, if you're driving a Nissan Leaf or you're driving a Model 3, it's a different ball of wax, but I'm dealing with a very large amount of batteries. We're dealing with EV trucks here. So if you've got yourself a Silverado EV, get comfortable, because you're going to be there for a long time. All right, so basically what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be going over to our level 2 plug. So again, easy peasy, just we basically line it up, push it in, and we're good to go. But this time, we're going to be using the new plug. That's the adapter for going from a NEMA 1450R, and we're going over to a NEMA L14 30 amp P plug. So now we're going to see how it does with this. Same thing again. We want to make sure that the unit is nice and warm and leveled up, and then we're going to be plugging this into that unit down here, and we want to make sure our breaker again is on. It's double covered. Again, all these nice protective measures. I really love this. So we're going to go in here, plug, and lock. And we've got a blue light and we're all ready to go. Make sure you get that twist. If you don't quite twist it in and lock it, you're going to get a fault on this machine because it's not quite getting those connectors, and it'll let you know. It'll give you a fault on there. So we are now in at a blue light. Let's go see how we're going to do. We're just going to plug in the truck here, and we have a blue light after plugging in. So we're all good to go, and she is charging. So let's go take a look inside and see the difference between the level 1 and using the 30 amp level 2 convert here. Well, there we go. We've saved ourselves a couple of days. As you can see here, we are charging at 30 amps. We're getting 7 kilowatts. So now we're going to be getting 7 kilowatts an hour. Okay, 7 kilowatt hours. Just to clarify that, for every hour you keep going continuously at 7 kilowatts, you're going to get a 7 kilowatt hour, which means after 10 hours, we'd have 70 kilowatts. Again, we are at 100%. This thing loves to go back to one-time charging. The most irritating thing with Ford is its software, because you can reset this over and over and freaking over again, and it will constantly go back to the setting that you didn't ask for. So over here we go into charging. We're just basically going to one-time charge, and it's gone back to 100%, as we can see here. So we're going to take this down to 80. There we go, 80. Save setting. Okay, save setting, updating, please wait, thank you. And now we're going to set to 80%. One-time charge maximum, please stay at 80%. But I can guarantee you, it won't. Suddenly, things have improved. My goodness. Charging 30 amps at 7 kilowatts, just clipping right along here. If we take a look down here, we'll be at 80% tonight. 11:56 p.m. at midnight tonight. It's currently 12:30 in the afternoon. So we're looking at, what is that? 11 and a half hours. We would be to 80%. Not bad. Still a little kind of a long wait, but if we're parked at our campground, this is running up the truck Well, guess what? We're going to be able to keep going off into the wild wilderness using our EV truck no matter where the frickin' heck we are. But this isn't good enough for us. We want to do better, right? Because we want to kind of be a quasi EREV. Oh, and by the way, let me demonstrate that. So let's say we Jimmy rigged something with our truck and we decide, yeah, you know what we're going to do? We are going to go out and we are going to put this thing in the back of our truck and charge while we drive. So I'm actually going to press in and try to start my truck. What does it say? Unplug prior to starting vehicle. See, so that's it. It won't let you charge and go. You can't physically charge while you're on the road. And there's all kinds of regulations. Already, there's all kinds of advancements happening with solar and with EREVs that means actually, yeah, no. So there are novel ways of getting around this. We need to see an auxiliary port in our trucks. I'm going to hit this ad nauseum because then we can truly make our own EREV. And it's going to cost us a fraction of what they want us to do by buying their complicated V6, V8 super dangled system. Yes, there's all kinds of things around it. I know I'm going to hear all kinds of hate things in the comment, but think about it. Think what would happen where we could actually set what we use, put a bunch of solar panels on it and directly charge our batteries while we drive. Aptera seems to be doing something like that. Why don't we? I think Aptera's got the right formula. So come on. Look at all the vehicles. Tello trucks, amazing guys over there. They're planning on putting a solar array to charge up while it's on the road. Why not other options for our trucks? Hey, if there's any engineers out there that want to tamper with an F-150 Lightning and have some novel ideas that we can break some rules, give me a call. I'm digressing. Let's get back to it. Now, the fun part. We are going to use a NEMA 1450 plug into our portable charger with Ford, level 2 charging now. There's a little bit of a secret in this that we're going to get to. In fact, this is very, very important. In part 1, we're going to demonstrate this portable level 2 charger using the NEMA 1450. We're going to start it up, plug it in, but there may be a couple surprises here that many people don't expect. It's not just the inverter generator. There's a lot of things. One is the internal charger inside your truck. The more capacity that has, the faster you can charge up on the road. If you've got a 19.2, I believe, or 19.1, I can't quite remember, kilowatt internal charger, you can charge almost double the speed of this, which is an 11.2 internal charger. For my truck, once you get past 48 amp, you're not gonna go any faster because at 48 amp, at 240 volts, that's 11 kilowatts, which is the maximum my truck will take anyway. But let's get going and see what happens. We're just going to do the old auto start here. And again, when we get something going, we want to make sure that it gets that time to warm up again. So we're starting cold. And one thing as well that I'm going to show you later that's really nice on this, if you're worried about how much you're utilizing of this generator, Champion has a gauge right here that's showing you 50, 25%, 75%, up to 100%. So you know if you're getting close to overtaxing the unit, because it's got an indicator of how much you're drawing right there on the IntelliGauge on the side of the machine. Let's give it a go. I think we're all warmed up and we're gonna hit that NEMA 1450 plug in there and see what happens. All right, so we got a blue light now on our unit here with the Ford portable charger, and we're gonna go plug it in and we're gonna see what happens in the truck. All right, and we've got a blue light and we've got a flashing light that we are now accepting charge, and we're juicing up the truck. And it's saying that we're only drawing 50% of what this thing can tolerate right now. So it's up to 75%. So that's kind of where I thought we'd be, and I'll show you why, because you think, well, hold on a second, this thing has a running rate of 9,000 watts, 9 kilowatts. So why is it at 75% and not at 100%? Well, the secret's in the truck. Now here's where another lesson can be learned for EV truck owners. Right here, have you noticed something special? Have you noticed something odd? This is showing exactly the same as the NEMA 1430 adapter plug. What the heck is going on? Well, that portable charging unit that I have's maximum is 30 amp. So if you're wanting to get this number to really jack up right down there, look, 80%, midnight, same as before. We're not seeing anything higher than what we had off the NEMA 1430 plug. And that's because we're using the Ford level 2 charging unit. So what we need for this to work and get that massive current that we want to see when we're on the road, guess what? We need a higher amp portable charger. And that's going to get that number up. Stay tuned, because guess what's coming. And after we're done charging, we always want to let this unit also stabilize. So you want to let it run a few minutes before turning it off. A lot of people just unplug it, turn it off. No, let the unit run, cool down, normalize before turning it off. Give it 2 or 3 minutes. I think several minutes is you're totally good, and then you can turn the unit off. And after we've turned this off, we want to take it out of fuel, no fuel, and in the off position. That gets rid of that standby. If you don't do that, it's going to sit in standby for 24 hours so you can use your remote from wherever. So if you want it off, make sure you put it into that off position. This NEMA 1450 has a maximum on its 240 at 37.5 amps. So we can increase this by another 7.5 amps if we have the right level 2 portable charger. So again, if you're going on the road and you're going into the wilderness, if you're going overlanding, if you're going fishing, camping, whatever you want to do, and you want to really cut back on the amount of time that you need to charge this unit to get your truck back up, you want to get yourself a portable charger that's going to be above what Ford's standard portable charger is running at. And that's the big change that we're going to see on the road. This is a fantastic unit. I want to thank Champion Power Equipment again for making this video possible. I couldn't have done it without them. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time now. And to be able to get one that has everything that I need and want is perfect. So this baby is going to be in a lot more future episodes, and it's one that's coming up very soon, and you definitely want to check that one out. In the meantime, if you haven't looked already and you heard about those chargers and you want to know about all those adapters when you go camping, well, you better check out this about the adapters so you don't get yourself in a pickle like so many influencers and other viewers and EV owners have. Thank you again so much for watching.
Oops, almost forgot.
One piece of advice is if you're traveling with this thing alone, you're wanting to have yourself some ramps, but more importantly, don't fill it up with fuel before loading it. Travel empty. It's also a safety thing as well. They recommend not having fuel in any of the units to travel with them. So you want to make sure that, you can hear I'm out of breath, because I did it all on my own with close to a full tank of fuel. You want to make sure that you fill up after you've unloaded it, and then run it, do whatever you're going to do until you're down on fuel, and then load it back up, because it's going to save you a lot of weight. If not, I do have a come along. It's very easy to just pull it up on my own with that, but I'm too lazy to pull it out. So I proved it. I would have been a lot actually better off being lazy using the come along. Anyway, just a note, if you've got somebody with you, you don't have a problem. If you're on your own, ramps, possibly a come along, and don't fill it with fuel while you're loading it into the bed. Don't be like me.